I think, in remembrance of William Friedkin, we need to talk about The Exorcist.
I think so. And not only that, there's a release of a new Exorcist film. I haven't seen it yet, so we're not gonna.
Me neither.
We're not gonna talk about that, but we're gonna talk about the original, the great
1973,
The Exorcist. Yes, 73,
and it's a
73.
Yeah, this film came out in 1973. It's something I have a hard time getting made today. Honestly.
Oh, easily. And
yeah,
although you can definitely tell the time frame from clothing and cars, if that wasn't factored in, watching a new restored version of The Exorcist, it's super crisp. Like, it looks almost brand new. Like that. It's insane how well that film that they shot on held up. I don't know what they shot on off the top of my head, but
probably 35 millimeter. I don't know either, honestly. But if you don't know the plot, if you don't know the summary, it's basically about go watch it. It's basically about an actress visiting Washington D.C. and she notices dramatic and dangerous behavior and physical makeup of her daughter, who is 12 years old. Yeah. And at the same time, a priest at a nearby Georgetown University is beginning to doubt his faith because of his mother's terminal illness and all kinds of other crap going on. And then we have MacGowran Sydow, is an aging priest that recognizes the necessity for a showdown with an old demonic entity. Enemy. Yes.
This entity knows who he is and is aware of him.
When you have that shot of Mirren showing up, the cab pulls up and there's the house in the background. But it cuts to Regan's face. And she's like, yeah, she knows exactly who it is. The demon is, right there on his shirt. Yeah. Is ready for the confrontation. So,
about that scene, that everybody knows that scene when he arrives, and it's absolutely timelessly classic. It's the poster for the movie a lot of times. That is like one of the most notable
iconic
screenshots. Iconic
ever
screenshots ever in horror. You know, one of the craziest things about all this, Max von Sydow, he was 44, I think, when they shot this, and his character is 80. And I think this might be the best aging makeup ever. When I seen the movie when I was younger, I had no idea. I did not know he was not 80 in that movie and into like my adulthood, and I just had no idea. Not only that, it was so intense that he even had trouble getting cast afterwards because they thought he was older. Yeah. I read a thing actually of him talking about it, and it was a bit of a struggle because people just thought he was older.
and who we had doing the makeup effects in this film was a makeup artist by the name of Dick Smith, and Dick Smith is like the master of special makeup effects. But his protege, this was his protege's very first Hollywood feature film, and that protege was Rick Baker.
Man.
And Dick called him up and said, "Hey, I'm doing this thing, The Exorcist, and could you help me?" And mold making and appliance, foam running and everything. And to hear Rick tell the story it's pretty funny. He's like on the phone with him, and he's in L.A. Rick Baker's in L.A. and Dick Smith is in New York, and Rick's like, talking to him on the phone, like, gee, I don't know. I'll have to check while he's packing his bags, like, yeah. So, and basically, he went out to New York, stayed at Dick Smith's house, and ran foam and made molds, and did the old age makeup on Max von Sydow's hands. So there you go.
That's insane. The innate raw talent that Baker had is just insane.
Oh, yeah. Still has. What do you mean had?
Yeah, still is. Yeah, but it's just, I don't know. It's still mind blowing to me. 1973, and although the computer generated age, the CGI is to blame for a lot of this stuff, even if by today's standards, going in there and doing the physical makeup, I'm not sure it would look any better than it did back then. Like it's mind blowing how good they did stuff.
I've been on sets where I've had to keep makeup and continuity and everything, and it's a bitch. Even today where we have good cameras, and back then it was, they were taking Polaroids for continuity,
right?
So, and to you, Generation Y, Z, whatever, a Polaroid is like an instant photo that took like 5 to 10 minutes to develop after it was out of the camera. So that was instantaneous.
They didn't have cell phones in 1973 that they could just snap pictures.
Well, this film is it's depending on who you talk to, it's either the scariest movie ever made, or it's the dumbest movie ever made, or it's not scary at all, or it's got some cool stuff in it. So it's a mixed bag what this film is.
Yeah.
And to me, for years, I just found it unnerving. Honestly, just the subject matter, and
it's super uncomfortable.
I couldn't listen to Tubular Bells. Yeah, I couldn't listen to Tubular Bells trying to sleep at night. No way.
Yeah, it's still creepy to this day.
I don't know.
Again, it's so iconic.
It is creepy.
To hear those bells, but
it is.
I think
it's
okay.
How many other,
even watching
how many other classical pieces of music have gone on to be like Exorcist worthy? I can't think of anything. I mean, maybe
you can think of themes made for the movies, but not actually. The only
thing I can really think of is in the movie Excalibur, they used Carl Orff's Carmina Burana, which is epic, and they also used Siegfried's Funeral March. Yeah, Richard Wagner. I can't cough up enough phlegm to pronounce his name correctly. So Wagner. See, I just can't. I can't do it.
If you produce it, if you make enough phlegm to say it correctly, your microphone will resemble Father Karras's face when talking to Regan.
Yes, for sure. This film, the one line that really stands out to me in this film, like is where Regan says to her mom, Chris, like, "Mom, am I going to be okay?" Remember that line? Yeah. And what Chris should have said is, "Darling, you're using a Ouija board by yourself, and you brought a fucking demon in this house. What the fuck is wrong with you?" Sorry. I mean, yeah.
The moral of this whole fucking thing. Don't
play with Ouija boards.
Goddamn Ouija board.
Don't play with the fucking Ouija board.
Yeah. Never is it a good idea. I don't care
Yeah.
what religious denomination you are or how. It doesn't matter whether you're superstitious or not, atheist. You give no shits. You don't fuck with a Ouija board.
You don't fuck
It's
with
just something. Why bother? It's just a terrible idea.
Yeah, I mean, you're taking your life into your own hands. You're taking your family's life into your own hands.
Don't try to talk to.
I mean,
Captain Howdy.
I've seen. Oh yes. Wait, are you talking about the Captain Howdy from Strangeland, D. Snyder's film? Or are you talking about Captain Howdy from this film? Because I wouldn't want to mess with either one, really. I mean,
no, absolutely not.
I don't want my genitalia pierced. I mean, okay.
There's a
This is like the Howard Stern show.
Cross.
You never know what we're gonna. Well, yeah. Oh my God.
Woo.
Woo. We're just
my goodness
entering that realm of I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, it is what it is. I think the film itself almost has just like this aura of uneasiness. Like, not that I'm in fear of discussing it or even that, but just every time I watch that movie, it's just extremely uncomfortable. Just the whole start to finish, something's wrong the whole way. And it just slowly amps up all the way through. Doesn't matter how many times I've watched it. And I usually watch The Exorcist probably at least once a year, I would say. It's when I visit yearly. Because it's fantastic. We're talking like Jaws level, perfect horror cinema here, in my opinion.
I mean, we talked about that earlier. Yeah, but I can't find. I really can't find any mistakes in the film. You know, you watch a film and you'll see something. Well, that makes no sense. That makes no sense. Whatever. You know, I think William Friedkin covered all of his bases.
Yeah.
When he directed this.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the whole cast. I'm talking about people I don't know who their names are without looking at a cast list, but like people that were playing like the house maids and stuff like that. Even down to them, you catch little things. Like one thing, I don't know if you want to call him, he's a butler or, you know, one of the gentlemen that worked for her at the house. As Chris is going up to Regan's room, he calls her it. And I think he says it doesn't want to sleep, or it doesn't want something, but it doesn't call it Regan or anything. He just calls it it. But you don't like, it's so normal and passive, but like when you catch it, like it just makes you realize like these people they're honed in. Everything is absolutely just firing at 100%.
Yeah.
Down to the crew, the actors.
You know, speaking of that character, speaking of that character also, when the director of the film that Ellen Burstyn's character is in, Chris is in, when the director
Burke, that
what the
I don't know. I think it's because he thought he was a German descent, because it seems like he almost has some sort of accent. But Burke is absolutely fucking hammered, and probably was. I swear that guy was actually drunk for that scene. That's how good it is.
I think he was drunk for the whole movie, honestly. Well, up until the point to where, So, but I think the film works on so many levels. You know, we have Father Karras, who's really he's really questioning his faith. That comes across really well, and it's not overtly in your face, you know. It's
that's what's so
you just
amazing.
See it, just and there you know, you don't have to write dialogue like, oh, I'm questioning my faith.
Yeah.
You can just tell. So,
Yeah.
and
The actors are conveying their character, even with their
right.
physical movements, the way that they contort or move their face, even in just normal conversation. Like everything was just like at the perfect time. Everything came together perfectly for it.
Right.
And like you said, nothing's in your face. All the side stories within The Exorcist, you almost forget they're there because they interweave so smoothly. Like the whole
exactly.
with Burke somehow falling down the stairs and dying
the stairs.
and breaking his neck.
In Georgetown,
Well,
stairs.
his head was completely turned as they explain it. And so the cop comes to get involved.
They explain it.
Yeah, they explain it. But the way the cop is introduced, and he has a couple scenes with Father Karras, and he stops by to visit Chris and talk about Regan. Like, it's just everything is slowly. It's like water, that everything is just moving so smoothly along, and then everything coming to a head and exploding together.
Yeah.
It's very few movies make that as smooth as The Exorcist does. I'd even go far to say, even though I love Jaws more, in Jaws, they had to separate, the movie has multiple parts to it. We've got on land, and then we've got, in the water. And that obviously helps make the separation of the story evolving and moving along. But with The Exorcist, it's all right there, and it's all happening.
Yeah.
And it's unnerving as shit.
Yeah, and what I love about the film is the dichotomy between science and religion.
Yes.
You have these doctors that don't believe in God, possibly, and that plays right into Father Karras having, his belief is swaying in God, and they're trying to figure out what's wrong with Regan when we know what's wrong with Regan. There's a fucking Ouija board.
Yeah, so damn Ouija. But they also do a good job if you're viewing the movie for the first time, which I don't think there's many. But if you are, there is a couple of little things that make you question, because the first time Father Karras goes in there to visit with Regan, and then he comes back with water, and he's tossing holy water on her. After that, he says to Chris, the mother, that it wasn't blessed water. It was just
tap water. Yeah. So.
But it's never, you're never fully told if Karras was saying that to use it as a, placebo effect one way or the other, or if it was actually just tap water. You don't really know. They never really give it to you.
Yeah. But ultimately, he one of the things that he said, early on to determining whether someone is possessed or not, they speak languages that they wouldn't know. And Regan's speaking Greek, and I think there was some French in there, and all kinds of other languages that she's speaking. Latin,
I think there's
Italian,
little Aramaic in there at some point.
Probably.
Close as they can get to it. I know they use like Aramaic, like chanting within the film.
Okay.
We'll talk about sound here in just a
few.
I want to touch on that.
Big thing I want to talk about.
Yeah, with Father Karras, you mentioned Regan is able to speak multiple languages, and then you get the whole. She had no idea that Father Karras's mom had passed away. He even asked Chris, did you know? And she's like, yeah, I had heard. And he's asked if Regan knew, and she's like, she had no idea. Yeah. She's been busy shaking the bed upstairs for weeks.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But speaking of the shaking bed, really early on in the movie, one of the things that creeped me out, especially when I was a little kid, is there's a scene when Chris wakes up for a phone call. She answers the phone, has a conversation. It's obviously like the director, Burke, calling her for a set call or something.
Right.
And she rolls over and you see Regan in bed there with her. And she's like, hey, what are you doing here? And she's like, I couldn't sleep. My bed was shaking.
My bed is shaking.
And she says it just so nonchalant. And you're like,
yeah, what? Like it's nothing. Like,
what?
You know, like maybe the D train to Brighton Beach was going by or something. You know?
Yeah. Like the bed was shaking. But because the movie is so unnerving to start with, like, it's like a little prick. And it immediately lets you know, like, uh-oh, like I feel like that's wrong. I feel like there's something.
Yeah.
There's nothing good about the bed shaking there.
No, not at all. You little prick.
Shaking for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. 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 So, but, you mentioned, something that I really want to talk about is sound design. This film is, oh my God. And this is what makes a good film is the sound design is spot on in this movie.
Oh, it's just literally
everything,
a masterclass.
Everything you hear
in sound design.
Yeah.
I think one of the coolest things I learned later on, because it's all mixed in, you don't know, but I think Friedkin put in like bees buzzing and some like locust wing flapping, and he used like some insect sounds mixed in with the music just to kind of throw it all in there as the background music playing. And it's almost it's like triggering something in your mind, and it's that physical effect that it almost has your body react to it and makes your hair stand on end, and you don't even know why, because you're hearing sound, and it doesn't sound like the things that are mixed in there.
Yeah,
but
it's sound that's triggering something inside of you, but you don't really know what it is. Like
exactly.
here's like one of the first times you notice it is when Father Marin is in Iraq, northern Iraq, and he hears something. He turns to look, and then they amplify that sound. It's two dogs fighting. And it's just so violent and visceral sounding. Yeah, and
they ramp up that dog fight sound. As the scene closes, like it's crescendoing in opposite directions. It's insane how
it's pretty good.
Damn good it is. And something so trivial is just other than having, a statuesque, screenshot of Father Marin and the Pazuzu statue there, but still with the dogs being often it just adds to the whole ambience. And like by the end of that scene, you are physically and emotionally almost stressed out. And nothing happened.
Because the sound takes you there. And let's talk about the Pazuzu statue for a minute with the hand up. Okay. Is it just me, or has anybody else noticed when Regan is being hypnotized, her hand is up like this? You ever notice that?
Yeah.
Just like the statue.
Yeah. Well, even she almost mirrors it towards the end of the film when she's standing up.
Yeah.
And she's almost, you see her silhouette because it's dark from the back, but it's almost verbatim the same.
Yeah. And especially when the statue appears behind her, then it's really like, okay, yeah. But rewatching it tonight when her hand is up, I'm like, oh crap, why have I never noticed that? I've never paid attention to that little detail.
There's a lot The Exorcist,
there's so much
it's
stuff going on in this
I think
movie.
is always a film that comes to mind. If somebody asks me, rewatchability or what's a movie, you catch new things, every time. And of course, I've gotten to this point, really, probably haven't picked up anything too new or dramatic lately because I've seen it so many damn times. But The Exorcist for a long time was that movie because everything's so intricately and beautifully meshed together that it's almost like a trick. It's like tricking as you're watching the film. And they are even part of that. They did some of that on purpose, actually, because the set, they actually put a little Pazuzu statue in random shots throughout the film. And so like your eyes and your mind pick it up, but it's not registering all the time. It's just
it's
one more thing.
That, like the subliminal messages, messaging in this film. It's all over the place.
They use that
all over the place
with the creepy demon girl face, and then they do that with the statue. And the statue's really hard to catch if you're looking for it, but it's there, and it's just like that's just insane how much an actual ride it is to watch this movie every single time, because very few movies are making your body react on so many levels. It's insane. Yeah, it's literally at a loss for words.
Yeah, it's fan-fucking-tastic. I mean,
fan-fucking-tastic.
Fucking-tastic. And
speaking
it reminded
fuck me.
Oh yeah. It's like fuck me. I'm masturbating on the crucifix. Fuck me.
Oh god.
And
we're gonna have to.
And then
we're gonna have to touch on it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
That sounded awful. Anyway,
it did. Yeah.
As soon as you said, you get to this really disturbing, disgusting behavior that the demon is putting Regan
on
through.
A 12-year-old
and it's
girl.
Yeah, a 12-year-old girl. Absolutely abhorrent type shit. Like it's things she says and she does.
In all actuality, behind the scenes, all of those scenes were not Linda Blair. They were Eileen Dietz, who was 21, 22 at the time, I believe. But so
that
there you go.
The crucifix
the more you know
scene is probably
it's shocking.
One of the most
shocking,
uncomfortable and shocking scenes.
But here's the thing: it gets even worse when she grabs her mom's head and shoves it down in her crotch,
and she shoves it down in her bleeding crotch because
and she's like, "Lick me, lick me, lick me."
Crucifix.
I'm like,
"Yes."
Oh my god!
And it's like, does this stop? I need it to end. Holy shit! Like, it's disgusting and gross and
it is
not okay as it is.
No, not
still, The Exorcist finds a way to make it integral to the story without being like just for shock value. Like it's not just
It's not there for shock value, but it is.
Yeah,
but it's not.
It is.
I mean,
but that's
you can.
I don't know if you've ever. Have you ever read the book? Have you ever read the book? Okay, because it gets worse in the book, actually.
Gosh.
So I mean, this shit. I mean, they're staying true to the book, and it, like I said, it actually gets worse. But I think I don't know how you approach something like that and make it tasteful. Is not the word to use, but palpable and usable within the world you're making.
Right.
And it's just it blows my mind.
Here's the thing. In the new movie, The Exorcist Believer, you think there's going to be a scene like that as distasteful? I don't mean to say distasteful.
Well, I mean,
when her mom's face was in
like,
it is. But
I would
like
assume
I said, I don't think you
there
could make
is
that
no,
nowadays.
you can't make that again. I wouldn't be surprised
No.
if they try to do something, you know, that is in that vein. And A, because the original's so well known for it, and B,
Yeah.
anytime you're dealing with a possession type thing, sexual deviancy is like an excellent route to take, because it's as much as there's all kinds of nasty ass kinks and whatever in the world. Not that I'm kink shaming anybody. Keep yourself
Nothing
happy,
wrong with it.
you know, within
That's your
the
thing.
standards of moral and legal things.
Yeah.
But it's always, I don't want to say it's an easy route to take, but it's an understandable route to take when you're dealing with that stuff, because it's immediately shocking and uncomfortable for the viewers.
Yeah, and
But,
sex sells.
Yeah, it does. That no matter whatever form, every form of it sells.
Yeah, we don't like it, but hey, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
I mean,
it is what it is, you know.
It is what it is. Folks.
It is what it is. And I mean, they don't use any more blatantly physical stuff, but she does make some very off-color comics to Father Mirren and Father Karras, where she's baiting Karras that her mother is sucking cocks in hell and all this stuff. Oh, and she's baiting Karras. It's hard to catch, but she's baiting Karras homosexually with Mirren. She's like, fuck him.
Oh,
like, she's actually making gay references to the both of them, which
when
wouldn't be as shocking now, but at the time.
Well, when Mirren comes in to see Regan for the first time, what's the first thing she says to him? Stick your cock in her.
Yeah.
No, stick your cock in her ass.
Yep.
In her ass.
Yeah, stick her cock. Yep.
Like,
yep.
So, yeah, that's like, I told you, hey, Father Mirren's just showing up. Shit's about to go down and get real.
Yeah.
And you're messing with that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
because that iconic screenshot happens, and even if you don't know what's coming, like, you just feel
something heavy is on the way
to the next level. I mean, because you're waiting.
Well, it skips the next. It skips the next level and jumps like 5 levels ahead. Is what it does.
Yeah.
So
we do go.
It's just
go right in to like aggressive and violent exorcism. Like we're immediately puking and sucking cocks in hell. Like there's no. That's a good thing to point out. There is no. We do jump a few.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, good Lord.
Yeah.
But yeah, before that point, you're kind of left in the dark a little bit and kind of left to wonder, who is this Father Mirren guy? Like, what the... We started the movie with him, and they mentioned him earlier. Later on,
we don't see him again. It's like, is he coming back or what? And then he comes back because they need to find somebody that's exorcised before,
right?
And he has
exactly
in Africa, which is like the premise of the Exorcist Part Two. Heretic, which is really bad. We will not be reviewing that, but we will be reviewing Exorcist 3.
Yes, which
was directed by William Peter Blatty, the guy who wrote The Exorcist, and he writes the Exorcist Part 3 too. Yeah, that film is.
Yeah, he wrote.
Well, it's not.
The book.
It's actually not underrated anymore. So I think it's growing in popularity.
Definitely within the past 5-10 years, that's become more widely accepted as a superior film than it was originally thought. I guess
and I think
the time...
I think that's because of the memes. I really do.
Yeah,
It's like
Yeah.
people are
I think-
seeing this meme of, and they're like, "Oh, well, what's that movie?"
Yeah.
And Exorcist 3. So people are watching it then. Which, hey, gotta love the memes.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, if it gets them in there, then they get introduced to it.
Right.
To a good movie, a movie that was originally
more power to
thought to be massive pile of dog shit, and finally, one day, maybe people, 20, 30 years from now, people won't think we're crazy for loving the Halloween trilogy and Halloween ends.
Right.
One day it'll be accepted.
Yeah, and who knows? We might do a deep dive in again for the Halloween trilogy as to what we would have done with those stories. Because Craig and I have been talking about this for a couple weeks now, and it's like, well, if I were doing them, I would have done this and this, and then we just started spitballing ideas out there. It's like, oh shit, that would be great, So, but I mean, does it make any sense to talk about what we would have done? I don't know. I mean, Dave McRae talks about what he would have done, so we could. Yeah, it is. And if you find us entertaining, smash that like button. I always wanted to say that.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've said it until now. Smash it.
Like Regan.
Smash it. Oh. Oh my God. You were going crucifix, weren't you? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Pazuzu politely asks you to poke that like button. Maybe
poke
even the subscribe.
Poke. You're going to go there too?
He wants you to lightly
take your finger
caress
and put it on that like button right there. I don't know.
Imagine
I don't know.
You were Father Karras's mother, and the like button
is a cock in hell. Wait. Oh my God. What has corn on the cob turned into? I mean,
what?
I don't know. Yeah. Hey,
we slowly working our way to porn on the macabre. Apparently,
oh my God, porn on the macabre.
The best part is I started that, but you went ahead and finished the full scope of the picture we were painting there with Karras's mom and buttons.
I just, I just went with it,
Yeah.
It's like,
well, I mean, we're reviewing a heavy ass fucking movie, and the best medicine is always laughter. So,
really.
But
really. I mean,
I want to
talk about remember that if you're ever in hell and you're having to suck a cock, just laugh about it.
Yeah, because there's some demon possessing a 12-year-old girl somewhere, telling somebody about how good you're doing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not even Catholic, and I need to go to confessional.
Yeah, actually, it's a good thing you brought up Catholic. I would like to know, Catholics, Hindu, Muslims, whatever. Did this film affect you at all? Just let us know. Let us know. I would like
absolutely.
to know. And even if you're
curious,
even if you're atheist, let us know if this film affected you, and in what
different way. Religious denominations are going to have opinions, if you will, about this, and we're not.
Yeah,
this is not to try to start an uproar about the religion or anything. We just like and are entertained how people view this film from a different aspect, because somebody that's a Catholic and somebody that's Buddhist are going to look at this movie in two completely different ways, So it'd be interesting what people have to say, what they think, you know.
Yeah. Ultimately, we just, we want to tell people about these films that they may not have seen or they may have seen, and we just want to open a conversation, open a dialogue to it.
Yes, absolutely. Because as tough of a watch as The Exorcist can be, it is an amazing film. Anybody that enjoys film, it is a movie I would recommend. Even though there is a lot of really intense things going on, there's a lot to be said here. I mean, and this did win two Oscars, I think.
Yes.
I believe
it was nominated for
multiple.
7.
Yeah,
nominated for multiple orgasms.
With a crucifix.
Oh my god! Oh my god! And with that, I think this podcast is. We just did it.
Really,
we did it.
Nailing ourselves down.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Last one.
Okay. Go.
So, Father Karras. It's hard to pick out like a main character in this movie, which is one thing I really do love about it. But it's undeniable that Father Karras is one of them, or arguably might be, you would say, the main, at least the main lead male role. But really, we were talking about the dichotomy and the difference between, we've got science on one hand and religion in the other, and not at any point in the film is one or the other really speaking poorly of the other one. They acknowledge it, and it's just, for lack of better wording, not their cup of tea. But I believe Father Marin is that centerpiece, the glue right in the middle, because his character is literally the embodiment of the both of them meshed together. And he's,
I never thought of that.
As about as sciencey as the church is ever going to get in his position, because he's I forget the proper terminology, but he's like a Catholic psychiatrist, basically. But with him, I feel like Father Karras is the centerpiece to all this, and then if there's a central theme to what everything's going on, what it's all about, it is the mixture of the two, and being stuck in between the both of them. And where does that leave you when you're dealing with one of these crazy existential circumstances that defies both, technically, even though we're ending more on the side of religion, because we're actually accepting this as demonic possession, and that's what happens, and there's no if, and, or but. Like, it's very prominent what it is, even though they maybe play with it a little bit leading up to everything. But it is really interesting at the end of all this. Father Karras, if you haven't watched The Exorcist, just stop this video right now and go watch it. Because, spoiler warning, at the end of the film, when Father Karras invites the demon in and throws himself out the window, it's not only are we putting an end to Father Karras, but it's almost like we don't have a defined ending in itself. Literal.
Well,
for
that was part
science and religion.
That was part of William Peter Blatty's issue with the film. He's like, because he took that as evil won, and William Friedkin said, no, evil didn't win, good won. But so
I mean, you can make
even the guy who wrote wrote the book thought the ending was
Yeah.
Uh,
It's up to speculation. I mean, technically, you're presented
yeah,
with what happens. Father Karras invites the demon in. It is known through his eyes and his actions that he is then possessed, and then he fights it back just enough to throw himself out the window and down the stairs. So there's no
yeah,
question of whether or not he was actually possessed. There's no question as to whether or not the demon made him go out the window. It's apparent that he fought to make that
right.
decision of his
Yeah,
own volition
yeah,
while
and
being
and
possessed.
yeah, and that his faith was redeemed in that
Yeah,
moment.
his
I
face
mean,
was redeemed, and ultimately, it's a very important scene
it is.
when Father Merrim asks Karras to leave the room for a little bit
Hmm.
because he does get caught up, even though he is warned that the demon is going to play with his emotions and is an expert at this. It does eventually, after a while, get the better of him. So Father Merrin says, "Hey, let's take a break. You need to step out."
Yeah,
And when he steps out, he's downstairs and he's approached by Chris, Regan's mom, and she asks him straight up, blatantly, "Is my daughter gonna die?" And there's a beat, and Father Karras turns and looks at her and says, "No." And in that moment, in his face, it is decision made. There is no way
right.
at the end of all this that child is not going to be alive. Father Karras, at that point in time, maybe he was back and forth, didn't know what to do up until that point, but right then he declares to himself and the mother and whoever watched him that no, she's not going to die. I will do whatever it takes to make sure that does not happen. And
Right.
ultimately, when he's left in this situation where the exorcism isn't quite working, and then Father Merrin is killed, what is left for Karras to do? He's put in that situation where he's has to make a choice, and that choice,
Hmm.
the result of that choice, has to leave Regan alive. So he makes the
Yeah,
choice to invite the demon in, which is,
yeah,
without
and
divulging into a lot of lore
and
and all this stuff, that's
d-
an easy way
and
to get
and
possessed. Just be like,
one of the
come on in.
one of the best jump scares happens in that scene where Karras is down talking to Chris, and he starts heading up the stairs, and he's like he's walking, a funeral march. It's real
Yes.
methodic, and then the phone rings, and it's so loud, and
Yes.
he just keeps going,
Yes.
and I jump every time that phone rings.
Yeah.
So
Which is funny because earlier in the film, the phone ring does scare Karras.
yes,
So it's interesting to think about.
yeah,
There's so much shit in this film that
yeah,
we don't. There's not enough time to dig in
yeah,
to
not
everything
yeah,
in it. But it's crazy just how sitting here, I wasn't even thinking about the damn phone until you said it, and then I
yeah,
was like, oh yeah, earlier
shit,
again
yeah.
we're reversed. Just going to show, in that moment, Father Karras was on a fucking mission, and he was
He's on
gonna
a mission
win
from God.
one way or the other. Yeah, on a
Yeah,
mission from God. I mean, what truer calling is there for a man of
right.
faith in that
Save a
situation? So
13-year-old
to
girl.
me,
Yeah,
yeah, at the end
from
of the
the
film,
church.
to me, it was always good one, but it comes with a cost. It was never that evil necessarily won because it didn't really get what it got, or get what it wanted. But uh, so for me, it was always martyrdom. You know,
Yeah,
uh,
and
good did prevail.
You know what Karras was saying in his head? I can tell you. He was saying evil dies tonight. Yeah. But I think we pretty much said everything that we wanted to say about it. talked about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so. There's just so many things to talk about.
that's pretty much our take on The Exorcist.
Yeah.
If you've seen it, you love it, let us know why. Let us know what your favorite part is of the movie. If you hated it, tell us to fuck off. I don't care. But
Yeah,
anyway,
absolutely.
we have one more deep dive this month, don't we?
We do.
That we have
We
to
do.
do, and we're doing
What's
something special, I think. Yeah, it could be a Halloween favorite for me.
Could be, which probably
And
means it's a Halloween favorite for me,
yeah,
as it turns out. So, yeah. But as always, we really appreciate everybody joining us, coming and listening. And as Randy mentioned, we want to know what you think. We want to know what you have to say about The Exorcist. And also, obviously, just to support horror in general or the franchise, go check out the new Exorcist movie. And if you have seen it already, let us know what you thought. Leave us a comment. You know?
Yes.
All right.
We're here.
Bang the hell out of that like button and subscribe.
Yes.
All right. Thanks,
All right,
guys.
we're out.
And we'll see ya.